Hi, I'm Ria, and that photo pretending to be a Zoom thumbnail is me back in 2014 learning about handloom weaving. Weaving looked simple yet difficult, meditative yet challenging. This was my failed attempt at weaving, but I'll try to weave a story about Panublix. Panublix comes from the Hiligaynon word panublion, which means heritage. In the 19th century, Iloilo was known as the textile capital of the Philippines for having about 60,000 weavers back then. And today, there are more than 400 weaving enterprises in the country. Fashion isn't just created in factories. Fashion is a craft, things that are often made by hand in informal environments. While designers reap high margins for their creative flair, garment makers and weavers doing laborious work get the smallest share in the trillion-dollar pie of the design industry. As a result of COVID-19 threatening global trade flows, artisan groups and local craft-based communities face desperate economic circumstances. If the big players took a big hit, how much more the micro-entrepreneurs and informal sectors? In the face of this unexpected halt in manufacturing, it is the most vulnerable, lowest paid people in the fashion supply chain that feel the worst effects. So, we took on a challenge. How might we innovate a solution that enables our weavers and garment makers in the Philippines to thrive in the 21st century? Before the lockdowns and travel restrictions happened in the Philippines, our team in Panublix had a goal of creating a platform that can bridge our local artisan weavers and garment makers to the global fashion and design market through digital adoption and e-commerce. Since the start of the pandemic, the income of our partner weavers and garment makers decreased by 90% in the second quarter of 2020 due to canceled conventions, graduations, and tourism activities, which were their main revenue sources. This meant no orders for event giveaways, no supplies, and no souvenir sales. But as they say, every challenge brings an opportunity. We aggregated garment makers in a digital system so donors can easily procure PPEs despite the supply chain getting disrupted. We took orders of over 200,000 worth of PPE suits, and this became a crucial income source for our partners. When the demand for cloth face masks increased, our weavers pivoted to sewing masks using the hablon. We set up an e-commerce site and onboarded their products that had views and checkouts from across the globe, with sales coming as far as the European region. In just a few months since we first launched, we generated over 500,000 in sales, 60% of which went directly to our weaving enterprise partners, while creating and sustaining at least 50 jobs for them amidst this pandemic. We've onboarded 15 community enterprises in Iloilo, Aklan, and the Cordillera region, with at least 4 of them in the running to be world-class artisan enterprises. Through Panublix, one of our partners, Salngan Weaving Enterprise, has been accepted to the prestigious Tenun Fashion Week in Malaysia. Having had so many pivots throughout the course of Panublix, we learned of the 3 things that conscious fashion consumers care about. 1. Sustainable materials. 2. Ethical sourcing. And 3. A delightful shopping experience. We have consumers like Jackie who values culture and heritage into her wardrobe. She cares about who made her clothes and doesn't mind investing in meaningful pieces. Then, there are artisans like Elda who live in rural areas but facing challenges of a digital gap and steep learning curve for her to do business online. On the other hand, there are designers like Diane who recognize this heightened need to source unique materials for their brand to attract conscious buyers. But sourcing materials is a challenge with the travel restrictions, and the lack of data points in the supply chain is a barrier for their need for transparency. With Panublix, we found a way to connect Elda with Diane so they can create sustainable designs for consumers like Jackie. Our digital sourcing platform gives designers reliable and transparent access to tropical textiles and artisan craft so they can design for the conscious fashion consumer. To contribute to a circular economy, we move away from the extractive practices of the fashion industry. A holistic solution across the textile value chain, we provide direct access to sustainable raw materials through our exclusive partnership with the DOST Philippine Textile Research Institute. Another aspect with our sourcing technology is a development program designed for rural artisans to be enterprise-ready for the digital economy. We are calling this the Panublix Weaving Enterprise Digital Enabler, or PWEDE, which means possible in Filipino. We're also collaborating with designers who share the same values of culture and sustainability that will lead to a catalog of co-designed quality export products showcased at our website panublix.com, bringing artisanal fashion brands to the digital economy. We know that to do this, we not only need technology but also an ecosystem of partners from public and private sectors to facilitate digital adoption among our weavers and garment makers. This is why we're building a community of collaborators to help us in this mission. This is just the beginning. If previous pandemics gave rise to the Renaissance and the Roaring '20s, what could a post-COVID-19 future bring? Hopefully, a renaissance in Philippine sustainable design and fashion that also values the well-being of people and planet over profit. Join us and let's make this happen. Madamo gid nga salamat. Thank you.